AC doesn't get in here, huh?
Oh, it's be fixed
It's
tomorrow.
getting fixed.
23rd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
It's all right. Can you guys hear me okay?
We got you.
We're in, like, this is a sweatshop right now with no air conditioning, so.
Sean, have you guys made a plan, I guess, whether or not you have to move, or when would that definitive plan be implemented if it has to be?
When I finish talking with you guys here, we're going to meet, get an update relative to both of these storms, and then begin to put a plan together, whether it's here or at a satellite location. Here, we gotta look closely where generators are, how it affects our facility, how it affects the indoor facility. When would the Superdome be ready with their turf surface? So really two options. One, obviously being here, and how are we impacted here potentially with power outages. And then two, in the event that we would want to move or have to move, plan B.
Sean, have you talked, obviously you have players from all over the country, maybe they've never been through this or experienced this. Do you just kind of tell them what to expect, what to do, and how to prepare in some way, just from kind of a human standpoint?
Yeah, look, I met briefly with him after practice and told him that by the time we're back here for the walkthrough again in the PM, we'll have a little bit more information, and at that time, to your point, how we want to handle this, not only as a team, but for the extended members.
Sean, sorry I got on late. Has anyone asked you if it was Kamara and Ramczyk, were they getting rest days today?
Yeah, Ramczyk was, and then Alvin had a little stomach virus. He'll be fine.
Sean, Drew talked leading up to camp a lot about what he did in the offseason to improve his arm strength, especially to be able to hit, deep balls better. Have you seen, I know it's only been a week, but have you seen any evidence of that yet?
Yeah. There have been a couple instances where it came out with the rotation you're looking for, and one of the things that he does a great job of every off season is really looking closely at his own game and how he can make subtle adjustments and improvements. And Tom, who he works with, is outstanding relative to the specifics with the throwing motion and creating power and how it's done. Obviously, you guys know this. It all starts from the ground through the legs up, and it's not necessarily an arm thing as much as it is a transition and a creating power and leverage with your lower body through the ground and into the throwing motion. But yeah, I have seen a couple good instances that he's worked on it.
Sean, I saw Ruiz got some. Oh, go ahead, JD.
No, go ahead. That's the same thing.
I saw Ruiz got some snaps at center today. What did you like out of his time there?
Well, we'll look at the film, so I haven't seen it yet, but our plan was to, every second or third day make a flip there. There was a couple snaps today where, that relative to the run game that he can clean up, shotgun snaps, but we'll look at the film and take a peek at it. So we wanted to do that both with he and Eric, and both of them are smart enough and good enough players where they can handle a switch like that, during a couple-day stretch.
Hey, Sean, a little bit of an organizational question for you. How much of your success do you kind of attribute to, being in sync with Mickey in the front office for all these years?
Well, look, I think that has a lot to do with it. I think one of the challenges in pro sports, not just football, but pick a sport, is having that functionality, if you will. I've said this before. I think that not picking or looking at any specific team in any sport, but the first step in having a chance to be successful, and we know it's difficult to do that, is being able to functionally operate and lead the correct way, and that starts with our owner, president, our general manager, our head coach. Those functions and or those dysfunctions can really allow a team a chance to be successful or prevent a team from being successful. So I would say it matters greatly.
Sean, how important is it for all three quarterbacks to make the cadence sound exact? And what's that process like just for them to get on the same?
Well, it is important. And the process is pretty simple. It's right now the other two sound like Drew. And then when he leaves someday, it's going to be the others sound like whoever the starter is. Because there are some nuances. You know, there are a lot of similarities around the league relative to how a cadence is delivered, but the specifics regarding the voice and the inflection and the timing can vary some. So the very early meetings in training camp or mini camp or OTAs, you know, we'll have everyone in a room, and Drew will give the cadence, and then we'll clap on the get off, you know, and then all of a sudden Taysom, then Jameis, and you know, when you're not hearing the claps in sync and there's maybe a discrepancy there, you know that's something that you have to clean up. So I do think it's important. I do think it's the first advantage an offense has is understanding when the play starts, and the defense does not have that necessarily. And so I think that it's trying to very quickly sound like how Drew's delivering the cadence from a timing standpoint, not necessarily the strength of your voice, but the timing of it.
Sean, I would assume you saw some of the qualities in Malcolm Jenkins at a young age because he was a captain so early and he was doing a lot of community things off the field so early. Are you not surprised at what a visible sort of activist he's become, and how much do you value just the makeup of his character and that kind of stuff he's doing even off the field?
Yeah, all of the above. From the day we drafted him and he came in here as a rookie and played in the nickel, you saw toughness, grit. He's a tremendous worker, tireless guy that would study the tape. You know, long after everyone was gone, he'd be in the defensive back room watching film. And so when you combine his leadership, his work ethic, and then his skill set, because he's an extremely talented athlete, you end up getting a player who's played as long as he has and had the success that he's had. So yeah, I'm glad he's back in our building, and he'll be important to our success.
Sure, there were a couple of testing hiccups across the league. Have you been okay with how testing has worked here? I mean, we haven't talked about it in a couple of days. I think that's got to be a positive, right?
Yeah, I think, look, every morning Bo gets up early. He looks at his email, and then when I wake up, I look at my email, and no news is good news. I think we've had basically 3 positive tests that were false positives, and from our players. And to be at this stage of preseason training camp, you know, that's obviously you don't want to relax or take it for granted. But you know, if you'd have told me that we were going to be basically COVID clean as a team, this stage of our training camp, that I think that's a little surprising and in a good way.
Sean, you get Taysom back today after a couple of missed practices. Just your thoughts on his addition off the field and how he worked back into it today.
Well, look, I'm sure his last 48 hours, you know, probably he didn't get a lot of sleep. Today's his birthday as well. I told him today, I said, listen, you're practicing a little bit like you delivered the baby, but it was your wife. So, you know, there'll be some film for him to clean up some things, but it was good to have him back out there.
First baby for him, you give him any advice?
Well, it's simple. You know, the number one thing is, and it changes, is just sleep. And but he's excited. You know, we're excited for him. He and his wife both, I'm sure, are thrilled to death and anxious to get everyone home.
Sean, is Jameis's mobility about where you thought it would be? Is it maybe even better if he's lost the weight this offseason?
Look, he made a few plays in the red zone today. He can climb in the pocket. I'd say he's got fairly quick feet, and yeah, I'm pleased with how he's progressed. He had a good practice today, a very good practice. All right, thank you guys.
Hey guys, if you have a question for Zach, go ahead and put it in the chat. I'll call on you. First question is going to go to Caroline Gonzalez. Caroline?
Hey Zach, I don't know how much experience you've had with hurricanes, but what's kind of your thought process with these two coming in 48 hours to New Orleans potentially?
Yeah, I've been here since late May, early June, and there was that tropical storm that came in. And when we were hearing about that, me and my fiance were going out to the grocery store, grabbing all the canned goods we could, and then we got home, and it was really just like it rained. So definitely preparing and just play everything by ear.
Next question from Amos Morale. Amos?
Hey, just question in general, how do you feel this first training camp for you is working out? And I know obviously with the COVID restrictions and the testing, it might be a little different, but how has it been for you?
Yeah, as far as the COVID situation, to be honest, I don't know how a normal training camp would have gone because it's my first year, obviously, and I'm just trying to take advantage of the moment, whether there's a pandemic going on or not. I'm going to give my best and work around all those obstacles that may get in the way, but they have a pretty flawless operation here, and you just come in the morning, get tested, and go about your day.
Next question from Amy Just. Amy?
Yeah, you've been getting some reps with the ones. What has that experience been like, playing next to DeMario in practice?
Yeah, the first walkthrough was really the only time that I in my life that I felt like in my heart, oh my God, I got these guys all around me, all these great players, and I was really just thrown right into the fire and forced to get used to the transition. And there's been a lot of them, but definitely taking advantage of all the opportunities, running with the ones, and any rep I get.
Next question is from Nick Underhill. Nick?
Yeah, Zach, what's been the biggest difference just playing off the ball more and seeing the field from that angle and just the processing and reacting to things? How do you feel like, that's going? Do you feel like you're still thinking about things, or is it, clicking pretty quick?
Yeah, when I was in college, I was all on the ball, really seeing through my man on one side, and really if you play on the ball, you got a 50-50 shot if the run's coming to you or away from you, and just a few number of drop angles, whether it's a curl flat or whatever it was very, very not as much compared to stacking off the ball. You really got to open up your vision and see the full picture. Still getting used to that, and but each day I'm getting better and I'm getting more comfortable.
Next question from Jeff Duncan. Jeff?
Yeah, Zach, exactly. Can you kind of give us a little insight into exactly where you're being used right now? Are you strictly staying off the ball linebacker? Are you also working in at the edge as well?
Yeah, I'm working a lot of Sam in the regular downs, and then when we go to more of our nickel stuff, I hop in and take Mike reps off the ball. So doing a mix of both right now.
Next question from Amy Just.
Yeah, in playing in different spots, what has been one of the bigger adjustments that you've had to make personally in coming from college to pros?
Yeah, I think, like I said before, just expanding your vision. You really have to have big eyes because at the line of scrimmage, it's easy to see a guy coming right at you. But when you stack off the ball and things are crisscrossing and doing all sorts of things, you have to be able to diagnose what's going on and where the ball is at all times.
Next question is from Caroline Gonzalez.
Hey, Zach, has there been any player either in the linebacker core or just on the defense in general that's kind of taken you under their wing or given you more advice than maybe other players?
Yeah, we're lucky enough in the linebacker room that we have a lot of veteran guys and a lot of guys that are not only have that experience but are willing, very, very willing to help the young guys along. There's a big gap between the older guys and the younger guys in our room, and we're trying to bridge that gap as best as we can. And Craig Robertson's doing a great job. Demario Davis, of course, and then Kiko and Alex as well are all doing a fantastic job getting us all up to speed and used to the pace of the game.
Thanks.
Next question is from Amy Just.
I would be remiss if I did not ask you this. How is Chance getting accustomed to New Orleans?
He's my dog is really hot right now. Spending a lot of time inside. Of course, he's not used to this. Shedding a lot. There's been a lot of fur around the house, and drinking lots of water.
I had to ask. I'm sorry.
Okay, I think we're all set. Thanks, Zach.
Cool. Thank you.
Hey PJ, how's it going?
Good. How you doing?
Good. You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Great. All right, guys, we have PJ Williams here. If you have a question, throw it in the chat, and I'll call on you, and we'll get started. Our first question is going to be from Amos Morale. Amos?
Hey PJ, I haven't been out to camp yet, but from everything I'm hearing and seeing, it looks like you're having a really good camp. Was that a goal for you to come out and really, kind of impress early on? And
Oh yeah, definitely. Just come out here, get better, making sure I'm learning new things, being able to go out there and make a few plays is always a good thing. So just coming out here every year, you want to come out there and make some plays and make sure you're getting better and doing what you can do to help the team or be able to challenge the players on the team.
Next question's from Nick Underhill.
PJ, what do you think about your skill set that makes it so easy? I don't know if easy is the right word, but the transition to safety, at least watching, looks easy because you're doing it so well. What about your skill set do you think has lent itself to allow you to do that?
I feel like just that I can process things pretty fast, like just being smart, knowing the game, and also just my body type, being physical, being a bigger corner, like it's an easy transition to be able to play safety and being able to tackle, play physical and stuff like that. So just being able to process the things is definitely a big thing for me.
Next one's from Amy Just. Amy?
Yeah, what's having Malcolm Jenkins in there like? You had some help with when you had to play safety last season with DJ, but having Malcolm there too.
Oh, it's big for us, man. Just the leadership he brings and also just the knowledge. I've been learning a lot from him just in these few weeks we've been together. So just picking his brain with him playing as long as he's played, and just I feel like all of us is learning a little bit from him.
Next question's from John DeSager.
PJ, I think we kind of hear a lot of times that players focus better or concentrate better if they're in one position. Playing multiple positions, does that kind of make you focus even more so?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like that'll definitely make you focus more because playing corner and nickel, I've been playing that the last few years, so it's I pretty much know the ins and outs of that. But when you got to learn a new position, you're more locked in the meetings, trying to learn new things. And I feel like learning safety and other positions, it just help you be able to understand the whole defense. So it's definitely, I feel like it's helping me lock in a lot more.
Next one's from Nick Underhill.
PJ, I'm just curious, you went up against him a couple times in one-on-ones. What's it like just to be against Deontay Harris in the line, just trying to stop him from getting off?
Oh yeah, he's real quick. So just his quickness is makes it tough to guard him. He's a quick guy off the line, so you got to be patient and move your feet instead of just trying to be real aggressive on the line with him. So he's definitely learned a lot since he's gotten here and getting a lot better.
So he's not someone you want to try to get your hands on?
Yeah, well, I learned that. So one time I tried to jump him at the line and miss. So I feel like, yeah, it's a guy you got to be patient with at the line.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Hey PJ, obviously you saw plenty of Jameis Winston as an opponent. I'm just curious what your thoughts are of him now. Does he look any different to you from what the guy you saw in Tampa, or how do you think he's done so far?
I think he's doing pretty good. He's learning. It's definitely hard to see just being on the defensive side, like paying attention to what I got going on. But as far as what I've been hearing and seeing, he's doing pretty good. He's definitely, I know you got to adjust, so you're going to go through some growing pains, but I feel like he's doing good. And then talking to him, that's one of my good friends, so I've been hearing that he's been doing pretty good.
Next question's from Amos Morale.
Yeah, PJ, when you got pressed into safety action last year, did you kind of think that it would evolve into this where, you're kind of playing a little bit there and a little bit of corner and, kind of doing more in the defense?
I wasn't really sure, but I think after that second game that I played it, Coach was pretty much telling me this could be something that we do. So after that, definitely and then going through practice that next week is like, oh yeah, this definitely could be a position that I can be able to play or play a role in.
Next question's from Nick Underhill.
Just in general, with all the versatility in the secondary, is it kind of crazy to think about like all the different stuff you guys can do as a group? I mean, there's a lot of you guys that can play a lot of different spots.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. I feel like the sky's the limit for our secondary and for our defense. We got a good defense, smart, a lot of guys that played a whole lot of football and that can play in a lot of different places. So it's definitely, I feel like it's going to be great for our secondary this year.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Hey PJ, how have you seen? I get CD Deuce, CJ. Have you seen him like kind of evolve since his rookie year? And he seems kind of like a high energy guy back there.
Oh yeah, man. That's what he that's what he is. He's a high energy guy. He brings a lot of energy to the team, and just I feel like he definitely getting just learning, getting smarter, not just playing out there. And he does a great job of playing fast, but just I feel like learning the defense and learning what the offense is giving you, that'll definitely help take his game to the next level. So I feel like that's what he's doing well this year.
Next question's from Amy Jess.
Yeah, nothing of consequence, but we'd heard, Ohio State this, Ohio State that forever in the locker room, and now there's like a half dozen Florida State guys on the team, you included. What's that been like, just seeing so many Seminoles in that locker room?
Oh yeah, it's nice, man. You always want to see somebody that went to your school, man. So we all real cool and tight. So it's definitely good seeing a lot of players, and it's a few players that I came in with at Florida State, and so it's definitely fun seeing the guys that you went to school with and guys that went to your school.
I think that should wrap it up. Thanks for joining us, PJ.
All right, thank you.
Have a good one.
Thank you, PJ.
Hey, Latavius, how are you?
Good, how you doing?
Good. You can hear me okay?
Loud and clear.
Perfect. All right, everybody. Latavius Murray here. If you have a question, throw it in the chat, and we'll begin. Our first question is going to be from Luke Johnson.
Hey, Latavius, I saw this offseason you went and got your graduate degree from Syracuse, I believe. Just can you kind of tell us why that was important to you, what your degree was in, all that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I got my master's in business administration. It was important to me because I think just some years ago, going through an injury back in Oakland, I kind of got to thinking about kind of life after football and what that looked like for me. And I kind of realized at that time I didn't know. I kind of still trying to figure that part out, but obviously I'm still playing. So, but just allowed me to think about my career after football and being able to educate myself through the NFL reimbursement program, and so I decided to go back to school. I chose Syracuse since it's where I grew up back home, and it's just been a few years of kind of taking some classes in the off season. Started that in 17, and now here in 2020 I was able to finish. So definitely I'm glad I got that out of the way, and definitely glad that I was able to experience all that and meet the people that I've met.
Next question is from Caroline Gonzalez.
Hey, Latavius, sorry the Pelicans didn't bring you inside that Orlando bubble. Sorry to see that. But second year with the Saints, how much more comfortable do you feel in this offense after spending an entire season with the team?
I feel real comfortable. I even feel it this off season. Just another year of hearing the same plays, the same calls, and just being in the locker room and on the field with the same group of guys, the core guys. So it feels good. Allows me to go out there and play faster, and again, I think I just need to continue to stack the days and continue to go out there with the mentality to improve every day. And as long as I do that, I think I'll be pleased with what I go out there and put on film.
Thank you.
Next question is from Amos Morale.
Yeah, Latavius, what have you noticed from the offensive line? Obviously, a pretty big new piece in the rookie Cesar Ruiz, but what have you noticed from kind of how they're building chemistry and how that's affecting you from your position?
Yeah, I think they've been doing a great job. I think even all the young guys that's come in have came in and competed at a real high level, and I think with time and with reps, they're going to continue to gel and mesh. But I think we've gotten off to a really good start and done some really good things. So I'm just excited to kind of continue to work, and obviously we'll get a few guys back out there. But right now where we're at, I'm loving it. And on that, I got to shout out my boy T-Stat. Make sure y'all go listen. That BOA and that My Zone on iTunes, Apple Music. Let's go.
Next question is from Rod Walker.
And Latavius, how different, I know this is sort of like the last question you got about year two, but like when you were in Minnesota, your second year, and your second year in Oakland, did you notice a really big difference from that first year to the second year?
Compared to Minnesota and Oakland, you're asking, right?
Yeah.
And here now? Yeah, so in Oakland was a bit different because I didn't play my first year, but then second year we had the same group there, and then but if you want to say my second year playing in Oakland, we brought in a new coordinator, a new coach in Del Rio. And then even in Minnesota, we brought in a new offensive coordinator my second year after Pat left for New York. So I would even say this is more of a comfort level here because there's no changes to the offensive coordinator position. And so I think that's been a big help for me, and I think that's what's been the difference from those other two places.
Next question is from Mike Triplett.
Latavius, do you get the impression that they're going to place more of an emphasis on finding a consistent role or a consistent workload for you since that was so kind of sporadic in your first year here?
Yeah, we haven't discussed that, but I think that
you know, we have a lot of weapons on offense, and I just think, you know, it's a good problem to have, and so I'm just gonna make sure I just do my part to show that I deserve to be on the field, you know, as much as I can, and I'll leave it in their hands to figure out when and how much.
Next question's from Luke Johnson.
Latavius, with no preseason games, just for a running back, how do you like get your body ready to like be tackled if you just don't do a lot of it in training camp practices? You have no live action before the season starts.
Yeah, I just think in practice, just a constant reminder and running with it with an attitude and just running with a good pad level. I think that's most important. And then hopefully that carry over and translate to when you start playing games, at least, you know, you're in the right positions when you get that contact to either take it or, you know, obviously deliver, you know, a hit on the defender. So I think it's just practicing with the right pad level, practicing hard, and I mean, but you can't never get those, you know, those live game reps until you actually do it. So I'm sure we'll have some scrimmages and some periods where we have the opportunity to replicate a real game, and you know, we'll have to be fine with that. But I think if you take the past 8 years and all that from before, from playing, I know what it feels like to be hit.
Next question's from Kyle Mosley.
Hey, how you doing, Latavius?
Good,
Going
how you
back
doing?
to your NBA, do you have a certain focus, like Hardy, he's opening up some franchises, or you trying to do the same, or do you have a different plan?
No, my one of my focuses was entrepreneurial, but you know, for me right now, it was about learning. It was about learning and getting a chance to you know, network with classmates and professors, and I think I was able to do that. I was able to learn. I was able to network, and I think that's even positioned me to build some career, some relationships outside of football, and again, some relationships maybe that'll carry on once I'm done playing. So, but right now it was about learning and hopefully, you know, giving me an idea of what it takes to start, run a business, be a part of a business, and we'll see what happens when I'm done playing.
Next question's from Rod Walker.
And Latavius, we talked to Alvin, and he talked about how he was, you know, banged up last year. Have you noticed a difference in him this year and just his health?
Yeah, he looks really good. He looks really good. When he's healthy, I mean, he's one of the best at that position. And if you want to say multiple positions, but what he's able to do at that position, running the ball and out of the backfield, I mean, he's a playmaker. So, you know, he's healthy and he looks good. And, you know, if he remains healthy, then as we all know, he's a hard cat to deal with.
All right, that should finish it. Thanks so much, Latavius. Have a good one.
Appreciate you. Thanks, everybody.